Ever find yourself looking at your pet, or even just like a squirrel in the park and wondering, do they have a soul? Like, what happens to them after they're gone? It's a question that's haunted humans for centuries.
Yeah.
And today we're diving into this very question, but with a surprising guide, a 13th century philosopher named Saint Bonaventure.
Okay.
Now I know what you're thinking, 13th century philosophy.
Right.
But trust me, Bonaventure's ideas are about to take us on a fascinating journey.
Okay.
And to help us navigate these philosophical waters, we have our expert with us. So what makes Bonaventure so special in this conversation about animals and the afterlife?
So what's fascinating about Bonaventure is that he didn't just see animals as part of the background of creation. Like, he believed they held a special place reflecting the wisdom of God in their own unique way. He called this idea exemplary likeness.
Exemplary likeness. So it's like animals are a mirror reflecting something much bigger than themselves.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Even though animals don't think the same way we do, they still carry a spark of the divine within them. They're part of this incredible tapestry of creation, and each one plays a crucial role.
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah.
But how does this exemplary likeness connect to the idea of an afterlife for animals?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
You see, Bonaventure talks about a renovation and glorification that happens in the afterlife. And he suggests this transformation extends to animals as well.
Okay, so there's an afterlife for animals, but what does that even look like?
Right.
Is he talking about a doggy heaven with endless treats and belly rubs?
To understand Bonaventure's view, we need to delve into two more of his big ideas.
Okay.
Species and mode.
Okay.
And don't worry, these aren't as complicated as they sound.
Oh, I'm all ears. Tell us more.
Okay. So for Bonaventure, species wasn't about categorizing animals like we do today. It was about their core essence. The thing that makes a dog or a cat a cat.
Right.
Think of it like a blueprint that defines what something is at its heart.
Okay, so species is like the blueprint. What about mode?
Mode is how that essence, that blueprint, expresses itself in the world.
Okay.
So a dog's species might drive it to be loyal and playful, but its mode is how those qualities manifest in its everyday life.
So the species is the underlying nature, and the mode is how that nature plays out in the real world.
Yes.
I'm starting to see the distinction.
Exactly. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Bonaventure suggests that in the afterlife, the mode of a being, how it exists, can be elevated, transformed into something even more perfect, more complete.
You're telling me that a dog's essence, its species, could actually be enhanced in the afterlife?
Yes.
So it's not about dogs going to heaven as we typically imagine it,
Right.
but about their very being undergoing a profound shift.
You got it. And to illustrate this further, let's look at a story. Bonaventure uses the tale of Balaam's talking donkey from the Bible.
A talking donkey. You're really pulling out all the stops for this deep dive.
Right.
But what does a talking donkey have to do with animals and the afterlife?
Well, for Bonaventure, this biblical story, it highlighted the potential for something beyond the natural world to influence even an animal's behavior. If a donkey could speak, guided by God's will, what else might be possible?
I see. So it challenges our assumptions about what animals are capable of,
Yes.
even in their earthly lives.
Exactly. And it leads us to another key point in Bonaventure's thinking. The role of God as an artist.
Okay.
He wasn't content with the idea of God simply setting the wheels of creation in motion and then stepping back.
Right.
For Bonaventure, God was intimately involved, constantly shaping and molding his creation like a master artist.
So it's not just about animals having this exemplary likeness within them,
Right.
but also about God's active role in their journey, even in the afterlife.
Precisely. And remember, we're talking about the same God who, according to Bonaventure, isn't bound by the laws of nature as we understand them.
Right.
He's the one who created those laws, and he's free to operate beyond them.
Okay, so this is where my brain starts to bend a little bit.
Okay?
Are you saying that in the afterlife, God might use his artistic freedom to further enhance, to transform the species of animals in ways we can't even begin to imagine?
You're catching on. Just as an artist might take a lump of clay and mold it into something beautiful and unexpected, Bonaventure believes God could do the same with the souls of animals in the afterlife. It wouldn't be about erasing their essence, but about elevating it, revealing its full potential.
This is a far cry from the images we often see of the afterlife,
Right.
with pearly gates and angels.
Yeah,
It sounds like Bonaventure is pushing us to think much bigger, much more expansively.
absolutely. And that brings us back to the idea of mode. If species is the blueprint, the afterlife in Bonaventure's view is where the most extraordinary expressions of that blueprint might be realized. It's where the mode of an animal's soul, its very way of being, could be taken to a whole new level.
So we're talking about like a transformation, a revelation of potential that's beyond our current comprehension.
Yes, and that's what makes Bonaventure's vision so compelling.
Okay.
He's not trying to paint a picture-perfect scene of the afterlife, you know?
Right.
He's inviting us to embrace the mystery, to acknowledge that our human minds can only grasp so much.
It's humbling, isn't it, to think that our understanding of something as vast as the afterlife might be limited by our very human perspective.
Precisely. And it makes you wonder what we might be missing, what incredible possibilities exist beyond the limits of our imagination.
It certainly puts a new spin on that question so many of us ask, what happens to our pets when they die?
It does. And while Bonaventure doesn't offer a concrete answer, no cloud couches or infinite treat dispensers, he does offer something far more profound, a glimpse into a realm where the essence of a being, its very soul, can be perfected, glorified in ways we can only begin to imagine.
It's a powerful thought, and honestly, it's far more comforting than imagining our beloved companion simply ceasing to exist.
I think so too. And that's the beauty of exploring these big questions, isn't it?
Yeah.
We might not walk away with all the answers, but we expand our thinking, we challenge our assumptions, and maybe, just maybe, we open ourselves up to a whole new world of awe and wonder.
Beautifully said. So to all our listeners out there, next time you look at your pet, or any creature for that matter, remember Bonaventure's vision. Let it spark your curiosity. Let it challenge your understanding of life, death, and the boundless possibilities that lie beyond. Because in the grand tapestry of creation, there's always more to discover, always more to learn. And who knows, maybe even our animal companions can teach us a thing or two about the nature of existence itself. This has been a truly thought-provoking deep dive. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep those minds open and those questions coming.